So we have something to talk about. Let me state the obvious. Taylor Swift is dropping a brand new album called The Tortured Poets Department, and I am not doing well. This video is about to be a dumpster fire, not a beautifully well-crafted chef's kiss Ali Sheehan masterpiece, okay? I just need to talk about it because 97% of my brain is occupied by an album I know next to nothing about. I need to get it off my... I'm fine. Before I get ahead of myself, let's backtrack a little. Backtrack to Sunday, February 4th, aka Grammys Day, just as I was starting my stream. Hello, thanks for the info, by the way. We're getting the announcement tonight, aren't we, at the Grammys? I just can't stop looking at her profile. Like, I don't know why, like, I feel like something else is gonna happen. You know, it'd be hilarious. Wait, it's not, it's Rep. But, like, what if she just announced, like, a whole brand new album? No, she's not, it's not gonna be another Midnight situation. It's not. What if it, no, it's not. That, oh my god. No, it's Rep, which is great, but what if she, no, that's fine. If she announced another album, it would be on the last day of the Eras Tour. I agree. I don't think a new album will show up during the Eras Tour, because that would cause chaos. It's gonna be Rep because of the black and white filter. No, I agree. But if she really wanted to cause shit, oh, she could do things. Everybody stop. No, I can't right now. I can't do it. So even though in the back of my mind, I was like, please let her pull a Midnights. I really would love for her to pull a Midnights. I was fully expecting Rep TV, which I think the majority of us were. So naturally that day, like everybody else, I just sat there waiting for her to arrive on the red carpet because that was gonna be the defining moment. I was thinking like, okay, green, black, green, maybe she'll throw in snakeskin if she's feeling, you know, like being extremely obvious. Also, full disclosure, I'm not a fan of the Grammys, so I wasn't watching any of this live. I was just following along on Instagram. So then she arrives in this. Are you kidding me? I know a lot of people didn't care for this. I had one of my friends message me and be like, it looks like she's wearing a bedsheet, and I was like, stop.
Get some help.
I know there were a lot of people that didn't care for it. I immediately obsessed. Like, look at it. One of the things that stood out to me the most with this outfit, like initially, was this layered jewelry. I absolutely adore it. And it was very much giving Rep because obviously it was giving look what you made me do, but we would continue to clown. This choker, that stood out to me the most. Like, it's set on midnight and everything. I was like, what does it mean? What does it mean? I don't know what it means, but it gotta mean something. And then I just love this dress, this look. It was so classy and so elegant. And obviously, like, when she showed up, I was like, okay, still Rep, but it was like a little bit surprising, right? You look at this and you're not screaming Rep. The hair screamed Rep though. So at this point, nothing was, you know, alarming me at all. I was like, this could be a Rep fit. Does it scream Rep? Not really, but it, you know, it was enough to pass. So again, I wasn't watching the Grammys because I just don't really care for them. I'm not a big fan of award shows in general. I'm sorry. Don't kill me. I thought, okay, I'll tune in at the end of the show because, you know, like that's when it's gonna happen, right? I don't know. I just assumed later in the night I would tune in. But no, I'm sitting in my bed watching The freaking Office when my phone lights up with a FaceTime call from my friend Carly. And I'm like, oh shit. She immediately hung up, by the way. I don't know why she called me to immediately hang up. So naturally, what do? I pick up my phone and I sprint to Instagram. I'm expecting wholeheartedly a Reputation Taylor's version cover to pop up on my Instagram. And instead I see this. This right here, seeing this cover was the moment that I went into another plane of existence where suddenly nothing that was happening around me felt concrete or real. Between the freaking cover art and the Tortured Poets Department and the fact that it comes out the day after my birthday. Thank you, Taylor. You're not dead. I don't know why I'm gesturing up. So let's talk about the cover. When I tell you, I've literally never in my life been so captivated buy a Taylor Swift album cover. Literally, like, when I think about all the other album covers coming out, I remember being like, oh, love that. And then kind of moving on with my day, I stared at this. I refreshed this woman's Instagram page over and over. I don't know what I thought was gonna happen, but I was just on her, like, I was just there for like an hour. I'm not proud of that, but I'm not gonna cry right now. 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 I was like, what do I do with this? This is, because this is so different. It's so, like, something that I never would have expected from her. It's mature. Like, obviously, like, this is, like, the most mature image that we've had for an album. My immediate feelings towards this were obviously just, like, the maturity, but also my first thought was dark, sexy folklore. I literally was messaging with Ali Sheehan that night. I was like, dark, sexy folklore. And she was like, exactly. Dark, sexy folklore. I mean, the black and white, I mean, it's not even black and white. That's a whole debate. It's, like, more of a sepia, but not quite. It's black and white with, like, a little sepia over it. I don't know. It also obviously immediately gave me lyrical album because Poets. I mean, I don't think that's much of a leap. And when this dropped, and up until now, it's been like a week and a half at this point, I'm just having these feelings about this being my favorite Taylor Swift album. And I know I need to calm down because I know I'm setting unrealistic expectations, but like this album is like calling to my soul. Even before the track list, like again, that night, I immediately was just like, this is gonna be my favorite Taylor Swift album. And you guys know how much of a slut I am for folklore. And in terms of what the sound is gonna be for this one, I am kind of agreeing with theories about like Midnight's 3 a.m. Dear Reader kind of vibes. I also don't know if we're gonna get a single ahead of time, if we're gonna know going in what it's gonna sound like, or if it's gonna be 100% a surprise. I don't know, but I'm not getting over this album cover. It's so simple, yet it's so striking, and I feel like part of it is just because it's like, it's different for her. Just, we've never had an album cover that feels like this. Most of her album covers, you know, are her beautiful, lovely face. This is half of her face. Oh my god, it's like 1989. I'm just now realizing this, that like the album cover that it actually most closely resembles is 1989 because it's got the exact same cutoff as 1989, which I doubt means anything, but it is interesting. And now let's talk about the track list. I was not expecting the track list to come out as quick as it did. I was shocked when it dropped. I had no expectation that that was gonna happen, but I did find out that people leaked it, so that's probably why she had to do that when she did, and stop doing that shit. Just, why? That's so, stop. I just opened Instagram and there it was. And as I'm skimming through these track titles for the first time, I'm literally getting teary-eyed. Because again, there's something so different about the way this album feels, and I can't explain it, but the track titles were also coming from my heart and my soul, and let's talk about it. All right, so I don't know if you're interested at all, but I wanna go through each of these tracks one by one and just kind of see if I can think about what I may feel the songs will be about, what the vibes might be. I don't know. I'm not usually good at this, but I tried my best. All right, track one, Fortnite, featuring Post Malone. First of all, Post Malone was not on my radar. When I thought about the Tortured Poets Department, I thought, oh, maybe it will be a collab album because like a department collection of people. I was thinking like maybe a Phoebe or a Lana, Jack, Aaron, Bon Iver, like that kind of collection of people. Post Malone was not one of the names in my head, but I'm so excited about it. Also, I can't lie, when I hear the word Fortnite, I do think of the video game, and I'm sorry about that. But anyway, a fortnight is a period of 2 weeks, which I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know. I'm embarrassed by that, but I was like, fortnight, I thought it meant like the night before. Period of 2 weeks. Now for me, this feels like maybe the 2 weeks before a breakup. That's where my brain goes with that one. And then of course next we have the Tortured Poets Department, aka the title track for the album. I did not expect this to be a track on the album. I thought it was just gonna be the title. So I'm really interested to see what the context of the Tortured Poets Department is. And I'm not one to get into like the specifics of the drama and all of that, but we can't, like, I just can't ignore this.
So what's the name of the WhatsApp group that we're in? Tortured.
It's either the Tortured or the Lonely. Tortured Man Club, I think. It hasn't had much use recently.
No, I feel like we're less tortured now.
It can't be unintentional, right? So I don't know if it's gonna be like an introduction to her side of the story, like the beginning of the story from her perspective. My boy only breaks his favorite toys. Okay, my immediate feelings in this one are obviously like materialism, objectification. My boy, I'm assuming, would refer to her boyfriend, but to call him a boy and using the word toys, that like belittles him. Instead of calling him a man, she's calling him a boy. And to say that he breaks his favorite toys, now is she the toy? Does she feel that she was treated in a way, like she wasn't treated as a human being with feelings, and she was like objectified in a sense? And he broke her down, so he broke his toys. My boy only breaks his favorite toys though. I'm not sure what the only necessarily means. Down, bad, okay. I'm excited for this one. I don't really know exactly where this is going to go because it feels like a breakup album. So I'm not sure where this one's necessarily gonna slot in, but I'm so excited for it. Now, obviously, down bad is like slang or whatever for saying like you're so attracted to someone that you'll do anything for them, like even lose your dignity. I don't know, maybe that's gonna refer to how she used to feel, or is this for somebody entirely new? We shall see. This next one was one of the ones that stood out to me so immediately. So Long London. This one's obviously very straightforward. I don't know where Joe is from, but we know he's a London boy. Or he was anyway. I think some people think maybe London is gonna be like Joe, So Long Joe. I don't think so. I think like this is gonna be very specifically about her saying goodbye to a place that she called home for however many years it was. And she probably grew very fond of London and loved it there. I mean, even in London Boy, we get a little bit of that. So I feel like this is gonna be her saying goodbye to that place because I'm sure she associates it so much with Joe that like going back there would probably be kind of hard for her in a similar way like Cornelia Street. I'm sure she feels a lot of the same ways about London itself. So in losing Joe, she also lost a home. She lost London. Not to mention it's a track 5, so that in and of itself is enough for us to say, oh, we're gonna be on the floor sobbing. Love that. But Daddy, I love him. Okay, this was obviously an immediate standout to me because it just felt like a punch to the gut. It just felt like desperation, right? And I didn't pick up on this at first, but I saw some people talking about how this is probably going to be related to The Little Mermaid. If you don't know, I mean, I'm sure most of us know The Little Mermaid, but if you don't, Ariel is a mermaid and she falls in love with a human and her father does not approve of that. So she goes behind his back and changes herself so she can be with him. So it's like, I mean, do with that what you will. Maybe it has no relation to the concept of The Little Mermaid and everything that happens in that, but it feels way too coincidental for that to be the case.
Incapable of any feeling.
Daddy, I love him!
No.
Fresh out the slammer? What? I'm sorry, what? I have head empty on this one. Head 100,000% empty on this one because I've got nothing for you. Next we have Florida with 3 exclamation points featuring Florence. This is probably the most shocking title on the album to me simply because Florida? I've never thought of Taylor as having any kind of connection to Florida. Like London makes sense. Tennessee makes sense. Florida? Now maybe there is a connection there that I don't know about. Honestly, go check in with Ali Sheehan. She posted her video on like the track list. I have not watched it yet because I wanted to do mine first, but she probably knows exactly what's going on. But like, why Florida? I have no idea. Okay, Florence though, a Taylor Swift and Florence song. I don't know what kind of places, I'm not gonna get emotional about it, but like, I don't know what kind of places that is going to take us to, but it's gonna be otherworldly and I'm not ready. But Florida, oh my God, what does she mean? What do you mean? Taylor, what do you mean Florida with Florence? Guilty as sin, question mark. Guilty as sin? Honestly, this one feels a little bit rep-coded to me. I don't know what it is. Maybe just like sin, guilt feel like they fit the aesthetic of Reputation. But I'm really curious to know where the guilt is stemming from. Like, is this guilt that she's feeling or is this guilt that somebody else is feeling? Probably somebody else, if I had to guess. I think she's probably referring to somebody else's guilt. Especially with that question mark. Like, it's not her own. Guilty as sin. Do you feel guilty? Or is it her own guilt? I don't... Give me the album now. Who's Afraid of Little Old Me? This title to me feels so sarcastic in a very like, oh, who, me? Not me kind of way, right? So I feel like this is gonna be a song about like her mocking somebody in a sense for underestimating her. I don't think this one's gonna be like relationship related. It could, but this feels like it might relate to something on a bigger scale. Little old me? Not little old me. It could either be somebody like underestimating her or her like playing innocent when maybe she wasn't, you know? What is this album gonna be like? Okay, so this next song, I need to try and talk about this one without like crying because this title, this is the one that stood out to me the most. I Can Fix Him. No, really, I can. Wow. This is the one that I'm claiming. Just with that title, this is gonna be my track. I think if the title of this song were I Can Fix Him, I wouldn't, like, it would not really intrigue me at all. But the No Really I Can is another, very much like But Daddy I Love Him, another gut punch. Because that just feels like pure desperation and just like longing and trying to convince yourself that you can when maybe you can't. The self-reassurance through doubt. It's like she's fighting herself. Like, I can fix him. And then in between those two lines is where the doubt creeps in. No, really, I can. And maybe the no, really, I can too comes from like other people trying to tell her this is bad for you. And she's like, no, like I can fix it. Like I know I can, but she couldn't. Oh my God. Oh my God. Next you have LOML. This one fascinates my brain. Now, when I first saw it, I didn't even like see it on the track list. It was like just kind of there and tiny and like all alone and I didn't even notice it. But then I saw it and I was like, oh, love of my life. But is it? Somebody on my stream, we were talking about it on my stream and I said like, oh yeah, that track Love of My Life. And they were like, but what if it isn't? And that's when I spiraled. What if this one tells a story from Love of My Life to Loss of My Life? Her disguising the title as LOML tells me it's not at all gonna be what it looks like. I think OML is going to be Of My Life, but that first L, I could see it like changing throughout the song. Like, you know, like being a journey where that first L changes from Love of My Life to Loss of My Life. Or something like that. Or maybe LOML, it's not any of those words and it's something entirely different. We don't know. That one's really mysterious and I can't wait to hear it. Okay, next one, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. This one, I don't know why. It's a pretty simple statement and it could refer to so many things, but for me, as soon as I read that title, my immediate feeling was I can go on with my career no matter the pain I am dealt. And very specifically, I was thinking of the Eras Tour because obviously right at the beginning of the Eras Tour is when it was made public that Taylor and Joe had broken up and we saw a lot of images of her at this time, like on tour, like she was crying through songs and stuff and like the Lover era obviously has been very interesting to witness, but that is immediately where my brain went. So I feel like this one is going to be about her pushing forward through her career, through pain, which I think may focus on that breakup, but also could be other things that she's gone through because we know she's gone through a lot of shit in her life. So I feel like that's what this one's gonna be about. It's gonna be about her career and having to push through all the hard times to keep succeeding and keep going. The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. We have quite a few options here, so we'll just have to wait and see. The Alchemy. So I'll be honest, alchemy is one of those words that I feel like I've always heard, but I've never known exactly what it meant, so I did have to look this up. The medieval forerunner of chemistry based on the supposed transformation of matter. It was concerned particularly with attempts to convert base metals into gold or to find a universal elixir. Subdefinition, a seemingly magical process of transformation, creation, or combination. So all I can really imagine for this one is a song about that transformation, maybe through a breakup, through the pain from start to finish to the end, which is healing. I feel like she might talk about like how this journey has changed her and shaped her and transformed her. And hopefully, I mean, I'm sure for the better. Clara Bow. This is one that I've seen the most speculation about on Instagram. I didn't know who Clara Bow was when I saw the title, but I got all my info from the lovely sleuths on Instagram. Known for having a fun and affable personality, Bo still suffered from an overloaded work schedule, celebrity scrutiny, and the lingering traumas of her upbringing. She had been associated with a number of men off-screen, and her romantic life became the object of much hurtful speculation and gossip, including a pamphlet put forth by an assistant with the stories of Bo's relationship. In 1931, she had a breakdown and entered a sanitarium. So I feel like this one also kind of feels pretty straightforward, right? I think she's going to relate herself to Clara Bow because obviously she's faced a lot of scrutiny over the years ever since she started her career, which was at a very young age. So I think this one will probably be extremely heartbreaking and just like heavy. And then last, but certainly not least, we have the Manuscript, which is the bonus track on the album. I'm not really sure about this one. It does seem like it's gonna be an important track, even though it's a bonus track, because the Manuscript, like, it's written on, I think, the like CD cover. I saw it somewhere, but I feel like the Manuscript, like, it's, you know, it's just like her side of the story, right? So I don't know exactly where this song's gonna take us. This is one of the ones that I feel most stumped on. So yeah, I have never in my life been so excited for a Taylor album. Like, when Midnights was being announced, when the Tracklist was being announced, like, obviously I was excited because I love Taylor, but I didn't feel the need to like go through every track and try to figure out what they're about, and I didn't stare at the freaking album artwork forever. Like, I don't know what it is about this album, but it's calling to me, especially because it comes out like the day after my birthday too. I don't know, I'm just feeling very connected to this album already, and I can't freaking wait another 2 months for it. I also don't know what her rollout plan for this album is gonna be. I hope she continues her very secretive, you don't get to know anything strategy. I like with Folklore, Evermore, and even Midnights, like, we didn't get really anything ahead of time. I mean, Folklore and Evermore, definitely not. But with Midnights, it was like, you really didn't know. And I kind of hope she continues that. I'm a big fan of like going into an album as a complete surprise, having no idea what it's gonna be like. I love that. Please, please drop all of your theories and excitements in the comments below. Scream. If you need a place to scream about your excitement for this album, drop it in the comments below. Again, I usually don't do stuff like this, and I know this video is not gonna be very good. I just like had a lot of thoughts in my head and I wanted to throw them at you. Just all over you. Sorry. I can't express enough how excited I am for this album. I can't. Like, I truly can't. And I'm so happy to be here. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!